Hi, everybody. So, if you could just indulge me for a minute. It's not really stand-up. I'm basically going to be reading. And if you hate it, then afterwards I'll do a rap about the defenestration of Prague or something. Right. Humor you briefly. Okay. And this is from my upcoming one-man show, Death by Chocolate. I went to my first Weight Watchers meeting when I was 7. And this is before Weight Watchers had taken over mini malls and loaded up on color and smiles and marketed weight loss like a trip to Cancun. The meeting was in a VFW hall. It was down the street from my house, and I suspected then, and have since confirmed, that the only difference between the WW meeting I was at and the AA meeting that followed it was, at the AA meeting there would have at least been another male in the room. There was a thick cloud of smoke hanging over the room because even though this was 1983 and people were growing fairly certain that cigarettes were bad for you, they were completely certain that those cigarettes contained no calories. My mother was sitting next to me, holding my hand with one of hers and using the other to seamlessly handle both the Marlboro Light that I had picked up at the store for her at 7. Sometimes you gotta miss 1983. And the drab yellow Weight Watchers handout that depressed the living hell out of her, and I had a hunch would soon have the same effect on me. The details of the meeting itself were a little bit hazier. I remembered scales and speeches and applause and tears, and some of those tears were mine when I realized I was supposed to come back in a week. For the next week, every time I walked to the store for milk and cigarettes, I passed the VFW and wished that it were made of more wood and thus be more susceptible to an accidental fire. Obesity is kind of a family heirloom for us. Handed down from one generation to the next in a bag with a giant M on the front. God, I loved Ronald McDonald. I really did, despite a staunch history of heterosexuality. The feelings I had for that clown were it's at least a man crush. I'm not saying I liked him more than Santa Claus, but he definitely visited more often. And in any relationship, there's something to be said for consistency. These meals from Ronald were usually consumed in our family dining room, also known as a 1977 Chevy Impala. The exterior was white, and the seats were blue, and the floors were white paper McDonald's bags. Whenever we used to get a new car, my father would proclaim, "There will be no eating in the new car." And one time, that lasted almost a month. I don't want to say anything bad about my parents, or about my food for that matter. After all the pain I've experienced with my parents and my food throughout the years, I still have a very genuine affection for both. I've always suspected that I actually had a really special relationship with food. I believe the overweight of the world taste something in a bite of food that the thin do not. Something happens that makes it more than mere sustenance and transforms it into a true emotional experience. That idea started to dawn on me after a little advice my doctor gave me when I was 10. I was already the heaviest kid in my class by a healthy amount in the subject of taunts from the kids at school and the nuns I had the misfortune of being taught by. I feel a little guilty remembering this, but I remember as a child, after one of the sisters explained to me that she was married to Jesus, thinking very clearly, he could have done better. He's Jesus. But I digress. See, my unhappiness at school had led pretty much every adult in my life to give me weight loss advice, and my doctor actually gave me the same advice others had given me ad nauseum. It's not that you can't have any cookies, Michael. Just not so many. Try just having 2 cookies. Really? 2 cookies? Kiss my ass, 2 cookies. I'm sorry, you know what's better than 2 cookies? 10 cookies. You know what else is better than 2 cookies? No fucking cookies. I'm sorry, your 2 cookies just reminding me of the 8 cookies I'm not having. Seriously, did you really think that that's the problem? Not one fat person had ever taken the time to do the math. Let me see, 75 calories per cookie times 2, that's 150 times 10, oh my God. Everybody, I figured it out! The secret is fewer cookies!